I just wanted to kind of wrap around to your family and how much influence everybody had on you, your mother, your father, and your grandfather in particular. And you write about him. You had many discussions on the existence of God. And when you were a child, you said, I enjoyed hearing my grandfather at the weekly mandir, at least initially. But I found no particular attraction to a weekly religious or at least semi-religious discourse. By the time I was 12, I told my grandfather I did not want to come to the mandir assemblies regularly, for I had work to do. And I suppose, he told me, but he didn't sound particularly hurt, you do not enjoy these discussions at the mandir. I was silent, you write. He said, there is no case for having religious convictions until you're able to think seriously for yourself. It will come to you in a natural way over time. Now, since religious convictions did not come to me at all as I grew older, my skepticism only seemed to mature with age. I told my grandfather some years later that he might have been wrong, that religion had not come to me over time, despite my persistent attempts to think about the different issues that religion tries to resolve. I was not mistaken, replied my grandfather. You have addressed the religious question and you have placed yourself, I can see, in the atheistic, the Lokayata part of the Hindu spectrum. So he put your atheism still within the Hindu spectrum.
Yeah. There's no escape from that. To him, there were these different schools of thought, Advaita, Shaivite, and so on. And of course, atheism, Lokayata, is one of them. In fact, in the 14th century, when Madhavacharya writes a wonderful book, and I do recommend to the listeners in NDTV the book. It's available there should be a better translation, which I'm trying to arrange. But it begins, the first chapter is on the Lokayata. It's called Sarvadarshan Sangaha, collection of all philosophy, meant to be local Indian philosophy. And chapter 1 is on atheism. And it's a beautiful exposition about the logic behind the materialist position in the Lokayata approach. And so what my grandfather was doing was not to chuck that as being not acceptable and out, but as one of the lines of thought, not his line of thought, not one that he would recommend. On the other hand, it is a legitimate line of thought that one can think about. And that's how Madhavacharya in 14th century treats it. And I think if you think about the things to be proud of in the Indian culture, this is one of them, that there is a toleration that's not easily seen in many countries of very different times. I mean, when Akbar was talking about multi-religious tolerance, this is when in Rome, heretics were being burned in Campo di Fiori, and that's exactly when Akbar is talking in Agra about the need to have a multi-religious, tolerant perspective. I think that's a long tradition of India. Moved away from that quite a bit. And that's a matter of great regret for me.